I think we made record time packing up this morning because the mosquitoes are out. So don't really want to waste any more time down here at the lake. It's been a beautiful lake, but hard to enjoy it when the mosquitoes are as bad as they are. So we're, I think, pretty much ready to go. Day 7. We're back up on the trail, which I'm glad for. Last night was one of those nights that I'm kind of glad is over. It was a beautiful setting, Bear Lake, but kind of ruined by the mosquitoes. And we knew they'd be bothersome when we got out of the tent this morning. But also, about a week before we were at Bear Lake, there were far out comments about a overly aggressive bear visiting tents at night. And so we didn't know whether that bear was still around or whether we'd be bothered. So there's just some apprehension as to how the night would go. As it turns out, we saw neither hide nor hair of the bear. Wasn't disturbed at all. Didn't disturb us in our tent. Didn't disturb our food sack. So all went well. But I don't know, with the mosquitoes and the uncertainty about the bear, and it's just one of those nights I'm glad is done, and we're back on the trail. And we are feeling much better than when we started out. Both of us have regained some of our trail strength, and we have a long day today, 13.5 miles or so. That'll set us up for going into Trout Lake on a short day tomorrow. But we feel like we're up to it. Still carrying water because there's not a lot of water sources along here. At least not a lot of good water sources. But we'll make it through.
In the pack, boy, I didn't expect that.
Yeah, we did not expect to find snow up here, but here's a little patch of snow, and there's some frozen ice in the trail.
We didn't expect that. Show the pretty meadow. Beautiful meadow over there.
Probably full of bugs.
So negative. Beautiful meadow.
Froggy. We've come to the Sawtooth trailhead on the PCT. We're going to be taking second breakfast here. Thought I would show what we look for when we're selecting a spot to plop ourselves down and have one of our meals. We like, a picnic table, but it's out in the middle of the sunshine. I'm kind of warm right now. I don't really want to sit out in the sun.
No, I don't want to, and it's hard on my back.
I would say let's go back to those rocks.
There's those rocks, there's that, but it's kind of in the grass.
Yeah. So what we look for is a rock or a log where we can lean our packs up against, and then lean against the packs and have some support for our back. And we like the ground to be level if possible.
Yeah, which is a little slanty over here.
And not having vegetation in front of the rock or log so that we're not having to sit in the grass. So this isn't great, but this is what we're seeing here. It's a little slanty to the side, and it's also kind of in the sunshine, but it may be the best we have here today. So that's how we choose our second breakfast or lunch sites.
There's a little grass here, but my pack would be against this. Out here.
Yeah, we're more in the shade there. All right, I'm okay over there. You can be there and I'll be there.
There's the... So I'm thinking this is trillium, which was Grandma Lou's favorite flower. Very pretty and dainty, isn't it? Beautiful. We're walking in a garden.
We found our campsite for the night. We're here at Steamboat Lake. And we're going to pitch the tent right there. Look at this lake. It'd be fun to carry our Oru kayaks up to some of these lakes and paddle around in them. This is a fairly extensive lake. Who knows what's over there in that other lobe? Here's our campsite, our tent, our sitting spots, looking out onto the beautiful lake. A nice breeze blowing to keep the bugs away. Oh, my bag came untied.
What a beautiful spot. We are camped at Steamboat Lake, and we have a spot just right here on the lake. There's our tent. Door looking out to that. We're sitting here, not bothered by mosquitoes because we have a wonderful breeze. It's not hot, it's not cold. Beautiful, very relaxed. We actually had a longer day today. We did 13.2 miles, which is the longest we've done on this trip so far. That was still a short day. Last year on the PCT, we had worked up to 17, 18, 19, and 13 was a short day. But for this trip, that's a long day. And we actually got to camp by 3 o'clock or just before 3. So we felt pretty good about that. It was not super hard terrain today. We had over 2,000 feet down, which is kind of hard on me, but not a whole lot of up, about maybe just under 1,000 or maybe about 1,000 up. Anyway, what a reward for the day of walking.
We think we're out in the wilderness, far away from civilization. And then what do we see across the lake? We see people coming up with paddle boards and floaties. Sometimes there are access ways to these lakes that are shorter trails, like a side trail or something. And so we have seen people bringing whole families with floaties, little duck floaties and stuff, paddle boards. This is a party of 2 people, it looks like, and it looks like they have 2 dogs. Kind of takes away from the way out in the wilderness field.
We could pack our Orus in, but we wouldn't be able to carry anything else.
Yeah. We realized after we looked at the map that there's a drive-in campground on the other end of this lake, so that's where those people came from.
Forest Service Road.
So, no, we're not all that remote, even though we think we are. I said earlier that we like to lean against rocks or trees or something to be more comfortable. We couldn't find any that were appropriately placed, so we borrowed these rocks from the fireplace, and now we're going to put them back so that they're there for whoever might build a fire here to use as part of their fire ring. So we're going to put them back now.
So we're in our tent, and that's our view. Going to bed with that view. This has been such a great place. Good morning.
What?
Beautiful, beautiful morning.
Well, we're about to say goodbye to overall probably the best campsite we've had on the trip so far. I mean, we've had some that have been a little flatter, but none with the lake view and cooling breezes we had yesterday evening. Breezes are lighter this morning. It's a little buggy this morning, but really not too bad. Certainly not as bad as Bear Lake was. But time to head on down the trail. We go into Trout Lake today. So back to town for the first time in 8 days. Kind of anxious to check up on some things and make sure everything's running well and get a shower and get a little bit of R&R. Coming to the next water source. There's this creek here. We don't need the water though, so we're not going to stop and get any, but they've got a very nice bridge built over the creek and a babbling brook. Looks like nice water. That is a big mushroom. It's about the size of a pancake at the Maltby Cafe or a cinnamon roll. It's probably 9 inches across, 10 inches.
This bridge is a little scary. Yes, I would not want to cross it at night. Whoa. Here we go. There's also nails sticking up that you could trip on, let alone holes you could fall through. I made it.
I look around and I see the next forest fire waiting to start. All around downed trees, dead wood. Trout Lake had a fire last year, but it looks like they could easily have another one. So we made it down to where we're going to catch the shuttle into Trout Lake. There's some other folks waiting as well. We have an hour and a half, so we got plenty of time.
A wonderful trail angel named Steph has brought us to her home, and we're sitting in her backyard now, looking at her view. Whoa. Mount Adams, gorgeous. And yeah, she's so sweet. Just opened up her home, let us shower, wash our clothes. She's got like 125 heirloom blueberry bushes out there that she's welcomed us to go pick some blueberries. What a nice, relaxing time before we get back on trail.